am in Agartala right now. So I'll tell you the story of the day the postings came, and I was just reading the address, Jackson Gate Building, Lenin
Lenin
Sarani,
Sarani,
and I thought it's in
Bhaleshwar.
Kolkata. And I was like, ये तो कोलकाता ही है.
Hello guys, I'm Aman, and on my channel you have seen my journey from being nothing to RRB, then SBI, then RBI. So today on my channel I have a very special guest with me, my colleague Miss Kalpita Behra, whom you might be knowing from her LinkedIn post, and who has been an UPSC aspirant. So in this video you'll get to know about someone who is coming from a different background than mine, someone who had faced different challenges, different story. So yes, welcome Kalpita,
Thank you for having me in your channel.
and thank you for having me at your place to shoot this video.
I think I thought your video could use a different background. The same sofa but better looking.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, so do you remember how long ago I floated this idea that I want to get you on my channel to have your perspective and get to know your story?
I think it's been almost 1.5 years.
So what
Since
made
the
you
idea.
change your mind?
Actually, I am a very camera conscious person. So I do not like coming in front of camera much. But finally, I thought a lot of my posts, they resonated with a lot of people, and I got a lot of queries and questions which I think I can answer in your post, since you also have a very large audience, aspirants, banking, sometimes maybe UPSC also. So I thought I could answer a lot of queries that kids might have via your channel, because I'm not very active on in LinkedIn also. But yeah, so that's my answer to this question.
Okay, good one. But for that camera conscious part, I would let the audience decide at the end of the video. They might comment that whether or not you are a camera conscious person or you are just superb. I mean, this could be your reckoning, to become a social media influencer, maybe.
Maybe we'll see where
Okay.
it goes.
Okay, now so coming back on the interview, I think we have talked about a lot of things about life, society, economics, job at length, and of course I know your perspectives, but I wanted it to reach the audience. People are there who might be struggling with something, some mindset, some things that that they could resonate with, something that could help them with their preparation or their mindset. So at the very start, I would like to ask you, how did you find your way to RBI?
For that, I think we'll have to go way back when I was in college. So I have studied economics and I graduated with an economics honors degree. After which I joined SBI as a backup plan. I had thought of doing an MBA, and I just wanted to fill gaps, because I thought that I could perform better in my college. But just to build my resume, I joined SBI. Directly after college, I got through SBI PO. And while I really liked working over there, I was constantly worried about what to do next. And so in my quest to find that, I landed on UPSC, and I studied for UPSC for 3 years. While doing UPSC, I was also looking at other job opportunities that might interest me. So I did not give any other government exams, like I've told you. I was only interested in UPSC, and RBI is something that really piqued my interest because it was related to what I had studied in my college. And RBI as an organization is great, and my father was a banker. He has retired now. So he also told me great things about RBI and what it feels like to be in RBI. The work-life balance is great. The work in general is great, and it's really related to what I had studied, like I told you before. So I thought of giving RBI a try as well, and this was my second attempt at RBI. Last time I did not clear mains, and I think I made a great decision by coming here.
Oh, that's great.
So this has been my story and
Okay.
how I landed in RBI.
So great. Just to let you know, she has done her graduation from
St. Xavier's College, Kolkata.
always having the merit, I see. Okay, so the obvious follow-up question for me is that people have seen mostly aspirants coming from banking industry who want to join RBI, their story, their challenges. For example, mine, they know that I was a banker and what sort of challenges and journey, it was for me. So how was it for an UPSC aspirant? Like, how was the exam like for you?
So I think I do not think that there are a lot of informative videos available, and I really struggled to find it, since UPSC is a written exam. The question paper is out. It's a very transparent exam. But since RBI conducts exams online, it's a memory based question paper, right? Which comes out once you've given the exam, and so it's not 100% accurate. So you do not get that idea also of the kind of questions that come, and throughout the years the questions have changed a lot. So my first attempt at RBI was an eye opener, and how different it was from UPSC. So UPSC, if you see in prelims, it asks a lot of concept based questions, whereas in RBI it's concept as well as you need to know a lot of facts from reports, various reports that come, and I was not prepared for that aspect. In my second attempt, I think I was better prepared. Mains, I think I was better prepared because UPSC background helped me a lot. UPSC, and I was in continuous practice of writing and framing answers in my mind.
I think the only thing that would have changed is to type the answers on the keyboard.
Yeah, exactly. So in UPSC you have to write it, but in RBI you have to type it, and that was a big change for me. And prelims is very different. I think you have to focus on prelims preparation separately. You cannot rely on UPSC prelims prep for RBI prelims prep. Also because it has quants and reasoning as well, for which you need, even though UPSC also has a CSAT paper, the quant level is much higher in RBI. That is what I felt, because in UPSC I never really prepared for the CSAT paper. Since I come from that background, I never required an external preparation. I just practiced whatever papers were available, for example past year's question papers. But in RBI I think I needed to practice quants because in our year also, if you remember, it was a very difficult paper. So yeah, that has been a major change. Like prelims, you have to dedicatedly focus on RBI, and mains, I think UPSC prep helped me a lot. For example, my optional was public administration, and a lot of that overlapped with paper number 3, which was finance and management. And since I am from an economics background, that also helped me a lot for paper 1, which is ESI. So yeah, I think I have been lucky to choose such subjects.
That's great. I think for the audience, I'll give you a takeaway here that in my earlier videos, I have told you many a times that when the questions like how much time do I need to prepare for RBI, these questions, when it comes to me, I always tell people that different people have different starting points in life.
Exactly.
I was an engineer, so I was always covered with maths. I had the privilege of studying in ICSE school, so English was also sort of good for me. So, but what was new for me was finance and economics and those schemes and everything. So I had to focus majorly on that. Whereas for you, it was your strong point because of your graduation, because of your UPSC preparation. So it's different for you. And then, as you said that very correctly, that for prelims you have to give in effort, because I personally know some people who are so good in these core subjects, but they are not being able to clear the prelims, the sectional cutoff of quants or reasoning. And if you guys are preparing for RBI grade B, you should know that in prelims the sectional cutoff have been higher this year, and for us it was 4.5 marks only in quants, but it has gotten I think 9 marks now. So you need to focus on that. That is your takeaway. So do not just think of that you might require 1 year or 2 year or 6 months. Just know your strengths. What have you studied in your graduation? What exams are you targeting? And based on that, you build upon that, and then you prepare for RBI.
If I can add to your point, So a lot of aspirants and students have reached out to me for tips, and this is one tip that I always give, and that is to give any free mock that is available for RBI prelims, and that is how you'll get to know where you are lacking or what your strong points are. And if you are lacking in quants, for example, I always suggest not to try to be a topper in quant. Just try to clear the sectional cutoff. Since I was always scarce on time, I was studying for UPSC during the same period, and I was giving mains. So I did not focus on quants at all. My only goal was to clear the sectional cutoff, and I gave I gave a lot of mock tests to know in which chapters of quants am I getting the most questions correct. So in the exam also I did those questions and I focused on those questions, and I did not attempt anything that I was unsure of. This was just my strategy going forward, because I had given so many mocks to know where I am standing and which areas to focus on, and just focus on those things. I think it's very helpful for other aspirants as well.
So here you go, people. One more tip: give as many mock tests as you can. Always analyze your performance. What are your strengths and weaknesses? And if you think that this chapter is your strength, build upon that. And whatever you think that you cannot cover, you need not cover everything, as Kalpita said. And for descriptive part also, you have to get in it. You have to have a keyboard. You have to start writing. You have to build a decent word per minute speed,
Exactly.
so that you can cover those 600 words, and other two questions having 400 words. So okay.
Here also, if I can add to
Sure,
you.
why not?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But
It's your interview.
yeah, I cleared RBI in my second attempt. My first attempt I went till mains, and I feel the reason I did not clear mains was that I was taken aback with the writing. I did not practice typing then, and suddenly once the time starts after the MCQ, like everyone starts typing and you take some time to adjust to that sound, and
Yes.
you are just not used to thinking while typing. Typing in a keyboard, like mobile keyboard or laptop, is very different from typing in the old school keyboard that is provided to us in our mains. So I think it's very important that you practice typing. Even though you know the answer, sometimes it does not just click. when
Thinking
you are-
and typing, it's
Yeah.
something that you need to learn.
While thinking and writing or thinking and typing on phone is much faster.
Yes, and also I will share my strategy. I went on to buying the cheapest keyboard I could find online, and then I used to practice in that.
I think
Because
that's a good strategy.
the keys were so sticky, and I had
Yeah.
experience from earlier. And one more thing, when you're there to write the exam, beforehand, when you have to type in your password, then only in that column you try to use every key and see if any key is sticky. Then and there you try to change your keyboard, because when you are writing, when you are focused, then if anything happens, and then you call someone and they'll replace it, but then you lose your focus, and that may harm you a lot. And the third thing that is very annoying is that when people are typing, lot of clicking sound is there,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
need to concentrate and think and type, and then you have to reach your word limit. So that is
Yeah.
difficult, guys. Please focus on that. So this being said, I think we have covered prelims part, your experience with mains part. Now something little bit about interview, because people are so curious when you have two things. One is UPSC background, so obviously a lot of questions from there, and second is the gap years. A lot of students, lot of aspirants, they are so worried, I'd say, that sir, I have gap years, how to justify it, what to write in the DAF, and what to tell when the board is asking questions about what were you doing in this gap year. So what was your take on this?
So I think I have not mentioned it previously. I joined SBI at the age of 21, and
Something she boasts about a lot, let me
no,
tell you. Yes.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
And I quit at the age of 23, 24, like after 3 years of service, to prepare for UPSC. I think I did not mention it earlier that I had quit my job to seriously prepare for UPSC, because I felt that I would not do justice to either my job at SBI or my preparation, because I had tried studying while I was working, and I was posted in a branch which was almost an hour away from my place, and I used to study in metros, in local trains, but I realized soon enough that it was not possible, and I just felt that I could do better in life, and UPSC also demands that from you to give, like there are people who do it with jobs and it's great. I respect them a lot, but it was just not for me. So I decided to quit my job and prepare for UPSC, and I have gap years between SBI and joining RBI. But one thing I did while preparing for UPSC was I did my masters alongside it. So that helped, even if it was like masters done in distance. It was not a regular masters. So like that helped, and I also was very truthful with the panel regarding my gap years, and I told them very seriously that I did feel that I was not doing justice to both my work or preparation, and I wanted something bigger and better in life, and I needed time to prepare for it. So for RBI also, I would not suggest quitting your job, but
No, I
it
mean,
helped.
quitting or not,
Yeah.
it is dependent on a lot of factors. If you are coming
Yeah,
from
exactly.
a background where your job, your stability, or some money that is coming in is very important for you and your family, you need to put in extra effort to clear
Yeah.
the exam. But
Yeah.
if you can afford it, why not? If you want to do something bigger and better, as you mentioned in your life,
Yeah.
you need to put your money where your words are, like as they say. So
So I'll tell you this also, that in the 3 years that I was at SBI, I saved everything that I could, and I also got severance pay, and that actually got me through my unemployment. And I was blessed to have very supportive parents and friends who were there. They took me out on weekends. My father was retired at that time, and he made sure I ate well. I had all my favorite food, and like, so I think if you have that supportive environment, you can take that step.
Yes.
Like in terms of financial and emotional like support. It's not only finance, but if you are in a household where you cannot study, or you do not have very supportive friends or families, and work is something that gives you that support, then maybe you can try doing that, like studying alongside having a full-time job.
So, what you said, it brought back an old memory. I was working in my first job, that was an IT job, and this was around COVID time, just after first wave of
Yeah.
COVID. I had come home, I was working from home, and then I finally made up my mind that I would go, full in for RBI, and for that I realized that I need to leave my job, I need to study full time. But coming from a middle class family, those, I think at that time I was getting 33,000 rupees. It was very important for me and my family. And that time I remember telling my father that I want to leave my job and prepare full time. So his one question was that, are you really serious about it? And I said, yes, I'm really, really serious about it. Then the support that he gave me, it was everything, because he said, okay, whatever you want to do, you do. I'm there, I'll support you no matter what, how much time you take it. Then I left my job. It was a very, very big deal for me that I'm letting go of my constant source of income. And then it was my mother, day in and day out, she used to take care of me. Like, I did not have to lift even my finger. Like when I was studying in my room, my breakfast used to come in, then lunch, then dinner. I did not do any chores. And then my father was there, who helped me economically, and also the support system part that you said.
Yeah.
So lot of gratitude for family
I
and
think
friends.
we take this for granted, but our main investment that we do in life is on friends. We are just lucky to be born into families who have been very supportive. I still remember in my third attempt in UPSC, I sat down with my parents and I thought maybe it's not working out in Kolkata. So I'm from Kolkata. I was living in Kolkata at that time at home. So we decided to go to Delhi, and like I stayed in the poshest area that was there, just near to my coaching center, so that I don't have to waste time going to the
Traveling.
coaching also. And I know how my brother has paid for it, and even now I am indebted to a lot of people, like So I think we are very lucky, and we should acknowledge that it plays a very big role
Yes.
in where we are
Of course.
right now in our lives. And I do feel sad about all the sacrifices they have made, and I have not been able to clear UPSC
It's
even
okay. I
after
mean,
that.
it's life.
But yeah, even RBI is a great organization. Sometimes I thank my luck for not clearing UPSC and ending
do
up
you?
here. Yes, because other than a few services that are there, I think RBI is so much better than that. We leave office at 6:30. We have a great work-life balance, and the pay is great. Our bosses are great, and RBI is a knowledge organization. So you are encouraged to study, like study further if you want to. Like we have very intellectual conversations over here, and I really like where I have ended up in life, and it's all because of all the support that I have received on my way here. My school friends, college friends, they have paid for when I've gone out to eat with them, and
Shout out to them.
shout out to them. Yes, so thank you very much.
Okay, great. So now that we have covered this part, the gratitude part that is most important in life, you need to have gratitude. Let's move past. We have covered all three parts of the interview.
Yeah.
Actually, I've also not shared my interview experience like I had shared with 2022 attempt. I had made a video, what were the questions asked and everything. So in very short, I'll tell you just a few things, the correct mindset around it. People have been asking me, because very recently mains result have come in, and people have been asking me that what are the questions that could be asked from my profile, and generally are there questions from graduation or just the job experience. So let me tell you this, I do not know what questions might or might not be asked in your interview if you clear it, but as the logic goes, that what is your most recent thing that you can talk about. If, for example, if you're meeting me or meeting any friend, so what do you talk about? You talk about where are you from, what have you studied, what do you do.
Yeah.
So what you do plays a very important part in the conversation. So that happens in the interview. If you are working in whatever job you are, they'll try to understand what are you doing, and if you are serious about it, what have you learned, how has it shaped your personality. But for a fresher, you do not have any job experience, so by default it will go back to your studies, what have you studied, and your other life paths. But what is common for everyone is basic financial knowledge, what is going on in RBI, what is going on around the world economically, what is going on in domestic market. You need to be aware about the recent happenings, you need to go through the newspaper, the columns, you need to be able to articulate whatever you have read and understood, and you need to be able to connect the various points. For example, it's just not that people would ask you define inflation, but they would rather ask you that if the feds are increasing the rates, how will it impact our market, our inflation, and RBI's operation in the market to inject or push liquidity. So you need to know all these things, how to connect it. So the takeaway is that if you are working, you need to be clear about what is your job role, what are your experiences, what have you learned. But if you are a fresher, it is going to be about your educational background, and the common part is the financial and economic knowledge that you
I
need to
think
have.
adding to your points, even though I had work ex gap years, I was still asked a lot of questions from my economic background. Maybe it's because I had done economics honors and it's
Yes.
related to the work we are going to do. But I was asked really specific questions, for example, Mundell-Fleming framework, and like really technical terms. And I'm just glad I was able to answer them because I had a gap year, and I did not talk about UPSC much in the interview, and they did not ask me also. So it went back to economics a lot, back and forth, and banking industry also. I was asked a lot of questions from there about the merger of SBI, merger of PSBs in general, and ombudsman scheme. So it was like they can question you from anywhere, but your profile, it gives a direction to them, and
Also your answers.
also your answers, yes. So I also was asked a lot of questions from the masters I was doing, and they were very technical questions. So I think you should be prepared for that if you are from similar backgrounds. So yeah.
Okay, that is great. Now I have, I think, two more topics that I would want to touch upon. One is that as many of you would be knowing that I am posted in Tripura Agartala, and so is she. So, how has life been in the northeastern center? And just take us back to the experience when you got the joining letter and you read the address, because I also have a very good story of it. So, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so I think our joining letter came very late. We were all
Yes.
very apprehensive about where we are going, and I had a few known
Somewhere
people.
around 18th or 19th February 24.
Yes,
it
and
came.
our results came in
On
December.
13 December
Yes,
2023.
13
I
December.
remember
So,
the date.
so it was around 2 months wait, and we were becoming very apprehensive about where we are going to be posted. I was not very scared because I knew that 80
It's
to
Mumbai.
90% of the people are going to Mumbai.
So do I,
had,
man.
so I had a lot of friends in Mumbai. I had told them to start looking for a house for me.
Good for you. How did that work out?
So as you guys know, I am in Agartala right now. So I'll tell you the story of the day the postings came. It came via email, and I was just reading the address, Jackson Gate Building, Lenin
Lenin
Sarani,
Sarani,
and I thought it's in
Bhaleshwar.
Kolkata. and I was like, ये तो कोलकाता ही है.
I had no idea. I was like, okay.
Because
that's-
Lenin, there's a Lenin Sarani in Kolkata also.
Okay.
So I thought maybe it's in Kolkata. But then I read the last line. It was Agartala,
Agartala.
Tripura 1.
799001. That
And-
is your destiny.
And I had called, the first thing I did was tell my parents and then call my brother. And he laughed at me for 10 minutes straight. He's like, oh my god, you're going to
सपने
Agartala.
सजाए थे मुंबई के.
And then I had to tell all my friends that I'm not coming to Mumbai. And I remember the day that we were coming here, it was 3rd April, 2nd April.
Second we came.
2nd April. So we met in the airport, and actually we had an informal group, and I had asked if anyone is posted in Agartala, and I was really scared of ending up alone over here, and I had asked in the group, is anyone in Agartala? And I think Aman had replied, and he called me up, and we had a chat for almost 30-40 minutes, and so our interests matched, and I was like, chalo, 2 saal guzar jayega. I can talk to this guy, because everyone wants to be with their batchmates.
Should I feel
and-
obliged?
Yeah.
Blessed? What?
Yeah, you should feel blessed to have my company over here.
Okay. Why not?
So yeah, after that, I think we met straight on 2nd April,
Yeah.
and after landing, you have no idea how much I've
that is a very good story.
So
Okay,
we
yes.
took an Omni and we went to the hotel.
No,
that
the
we had
story
booked.
is that we came, we went to the airport taxi service and
Yeah.
we said that, okay, we'd like to have a cab. And they said that we have autos and we have Omni. No cabs in between.
Also, let me tell you, there's no Uber service here from
No,
the
Uber is there,
airport.
but only auto.
Not from the airport.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not from the airport. So that is that. And for me also, as driving from Patna to my place, and I had left SBI, I had all my stuff packed in the car. I was driving and I got a call from one of our batchmates who was posted in Guwahati. And
Okay.
she's the only one I knew that
Yeah.
who's going to join was cleared. So I understood that it is about the postings, perhaps. And I kept driving. I was like, okay, let us not lose focus. I'll go home and then only I'll see it. But then I crossed River Ganga. It comes in between from Patna to my place. And then I I lost the patience that I thought that I would have. And then I read it again, the same thing. It was Agartala, and then I was so apprehensive, and I was so it was such daunting thing to think that you're going to Agartala. I was
Yeah.
posted in Patna, so close to home and the capital city of
Because
Bihar.
mostly you think that with a better job, you're going to a bigger city.
Better place, yes, of course.
Yeah.
And then I remember that I need to find someone to talk to understand what all are there in the city, what are the challenges, what expectation should I have going in. Then somehow I found someone here who was already working, and then I got to talk to him. He calmed my nerves, like, okay, you come here, no problem, it's a
Yeah.
good place. And cut to almost 2 years now. So how do you like Agartala?
So before answering that, I want to answer another question. Actually, it was not a question, but it's just an experience that we shared. So Aman's bike came, I think almost 2 months after we came here, and we did not have anything to see Agartala till then. And we were like, okay, your bike is here now. We'll just roam around
one day we
Agartala.
decided that we'll
One
see
day-
Agartala.
Yeah, one day we'll see Agartala, and it got over in almost 1.5 hours. I
I think
we
less
had-
than that. We
Yeah,
took
it
the
was
full lap of the city.
Yeah, and we were like, यही है बस.
इतना ही बड़ा
इतना ही
है. हो गया.
So it was that day, and now I think I am really happy over here because being in a small office has opened doors that would not have been there in a bigger RO. Say, for example, here we go to meetings with senior state authorities, or like, since there are less people over here and the compliances and the work that is done throughout RBI is almost the same, the magnitude changes. So we are given a lot of responsibilities over here, which I think would not have been there in a bigger RO. And like, this is strictly from professional point of view. I think you are also happy with the fact that we get to do a lot in, and we get to know a lot about different departments also. I've been posted in 3 departments in the last 2 years, and I don't think that would have been possible in a bigger RO. So like,
So I wanted to get your opinion on the personal side, like the joys
so
of being in
coming-
a small city.
Yeah, coming to my personal life, you can reach office in 5 minutes. I don't think, and we take that
any
very
other
lightly.
city,
Yeah,
yes.
we take that very lightly. But reaching office in 5 minutes, even by walk, I think
And
it
then
will take
talking
10
to
minutes.
folks in Mumbai, they are saying 1 hour, and
Yeah,
then
they
coming
leave
back
at
1 hour 20 minutes.
8:39. So that has given me time to go back to the hobbies that I had as a child. I like baking, and there are like very few cafes over here. So I have gone back to my baking days. I bake.
People would love to, see your channel maybe where you are baking and exploring other hobbies.
Like I said, that I am a very camera conscious person.
Oh, I think people are now in the position to tell about it. Please comment if she is camera conscious or not, or if you think that she should have her own channel on you. Okay.
Then yeah, other than that, like, if you want to read something, if you want to pursue
See,
a
the
degree.
airport story.
So yeah, that is the best thing. So the last flight in winters over here is at
7:05.
7:05 from Agartala to Kolkata.
And what is the time you
And-
left office
And we
still had the flight?
yeah, and we have office till 6 p.m. But on some days, like, if we have to go out of station, I ask for permission, and I have left office at 5:45, and I had to pick up someone on the way, and at 6 we were outside his gate, and we reached airport at 6:20, and we still made it to the flight. I don't think it's possible anywhere
Any
else.
other city.
Also, I think we take so many flights now, even to go home, that CRPF personnel also
They
they know us.
they identify
Somehow
you.
they know us if we are taking too many flights in the same duration.
And never do we think that, okay, we can miss a flight.
Yeah, we never think
It's
that
like
we'll miss
you
our flight.
go in so late
We'll
and
just
still
make
you
it. We'll make it to our flights no matter what. So that is great. And like, after living in a small city, I do not like honking much, and I do not like crowded places anymore. It's very peaceful over here. The other side of it is it's very safe as a girl. Like, Northeast in general is very safe, but so here also you'll see no one staring at you. So once I do not encourage this, just a disclaimer.
Okay,
but
I think I know the story.
But I had left my keys in my scooty, and I had gone
Went in for shopping for 1 hour
Yeah,
later,
one and a
still
half
there.
hours, and I came out, and my scooty was still there, and it was a new scooty with no number plate, nothing. And after that, I have just, like, I trust people of Tripura a lot with all
I
my
mean, it has
belongings.
grown upon us, right?
Yeah, and people are very
Tripura in
nice.
general and Agartala, and
Yeah.
I had the chance, to go out of Agartala to the districts a
Yes.
lot, to blocks, to far off places, and I know people are so sweet, so
Very nice
accommodative. So that is
Yes,
a very
like,
good
there
part.
is no rage, or I have hardly seen people fighting on the road over here.
I mean,
And
it would be happening, but on a
Maybe
very lesser
hardly,
scale.
yeah, hardly.
And maybe our world does not coincide with the actual world that is there.
Yeah.
But still, it is on the lesser side.
it's on the
I would
lesser
say,
side,
yes.
definitely. the shopkeepers, people are very nice. Like there's a particular shop near my house where I buy my groceries from, and sometimes I just chat with him ki dada kya ki cholche life hai. So we just talk, and very very nice people. Like since the shops are also very limited, so where you can use Sodexo also, it's very limited, options are very limited, so you build a lot of personal connections. I know that they'll miss me once I am out of here. They keep asking me if I need anything since I live alone over here, and I know there is no ulterior motive to their questions. So,
All in all, we love Agartala now. That is the end point.
yeah, but like I would have liked it had it been a little more hilly.
Yes, just to let you guys know
Even
that
though it's in
all
Northeast,
our
it's
friends
not
and
hilly.
relatives, they think that okay, we are in Northeast, so Agartala would be a hill station sort of, or maybe
Yeah.
surrounded by hills. It is not. Agartala is as plain as, I don't know, any other place, maybe Patna or
Yeah, but little
But nearby.
outside the city, you'll
nearby
go, yeah.
places. Small hillocks are there.
Small hillocks. They are not hills, they are hillocks. And if you go south of Agartala, you will see
Tea
forests.
estates and
Tea
forests.
estates are really nice over here.
Maybe
So-
someday we'll show you outside Agartala the places
Yeah.
that are there, the very few places that are there, the touristy
Bamboon,
places.
Jumpui, they are also really nice places.
Maybe
and
it's on my bucket list to
Yeah.
show the people these.
now that
places.
you are a travel
Now that I'm trying
videographer
to
also.
update my channel, maybe a transition. So the last question, I think the interview has gone for
Way
good
too
amount of time. So the last question is, I'd like to get a girl's perspective to maybe life and the preparations, and then maybe failure, and then coming to different job, living alone in a city, and also maybe some things that guys don't have to go through, the family pressure to, let's be very honest, get married and all, how
Yes.
do you gauge all that?
So, as you know, in like these organizations, the percentage of women is less, like lesser than 50%. Statistically. And one of the main reasons for that is, if you look at the median age of people who cleared this exam, it is on the higher side. And
Yes.
and I do not think women have the liberty to keep giving this exam till that age. And in this scenario, I would say that I have been very lucky that my parents have been supportive. They have not forced me to get married, or like nudged me to go in a specific direction. And even if you are being forced, I think that works as a motivation to clear this exam more.
But
So
still,
that
it adds a lot of pressure.
it does add a pressure to your preparation. The additional pressure that men do not face, I think. You have a different kind of pressure maybe to provide for the family, because
Yes,
women
of
are
course.
not still seen as the main owner, like earning member of the family, which is changing, and it should change rightly. So that is a pressure that all of us deal with. But thankfully, my parents have been really supportive in this matter. And mothers play a very big role in this case. My mother has always stood between relatives and me. So there was a time when I stopped going to family functions when I was preparing and I was jobless. I just stopped going to family functions because I knew the next question they are going to ask me is, you're turning this age, and when are you getting married, when are you settling down? I did not want to answer those questions. And now when I go to family functions, I think in this case my external family is also very supportive. Then they did not ask me, now they are. And still now I just answer ki there's more to life than just getting married or being someone's wife. And so this is the marriage part. What were the other things that you were
How
talking
you
about?
gauge life, failures, and what is the women's perspective to clearing exams and working in general and in life?
Yeah, so I know a lot of women who are married, who have kids, and they have also cleared exams. And
Yes.
and I'm just really proud of them. I know someone who has a kid and she's cleared CAT and maybe get into a good IIM, and I am really really proud of her. And I think also like I've told you, support from family matters a lot. I cannot speak for someone who does not have it, because I have not faced it. But if you have not had it, I think you have to seek for external support, because as humans we are social beings. I do not think that we can do anything in isolation. I think support is very important. If you do not get it from home, you have to start looking for it in friends. You can find it in teachers. Like there are some teachers who are very motivating. I had very motivating teachers, and like there can be one person who is always there for you, and I think that is very important. And if no one is there, you have to be there for yourself.
Yes, that
You-
is the most important.
After a point, my friends, they also got settled in very good, very high paying jobs, and you start having these self doubt, you know, what if I did the wrong thing by leaving my first job, or they are doing better and they are getting married. So one of my best friends, when she got married, I was still jobless, and I knew I really wanted to enjoy her wedding without people questioning me, what am I doing and all of that. But it's a part of life, and you do not have to let those thoughts affect your relationship with the world, you know. Like you are struggling, ठीक है, but you have to be there कि एक दिन ये struggle खत्म होगा, and you will be there, you will get this job, you will like anyone, like if you look at a lot of UPSC aspirants or people who have cleared UPSC, if you look at their interviews, they have also faced this loneliness. But you have to be there for yourself. You have to do things that you like. Sometimes maybe writing a diary or journal helps a lot, dealing with all of this. And yes, I always say this, that women should be financially secure to pursue their dream. Sometimes you have to do jobs that you are not happy with to be financially secure, and like follow the dream that you have been having for so long. So that is also very important, so that you are not dependent on anyone. No one will ask you, or you won't have to ask for money from anyone else. You are there for yourself, like I said, financially, emotionally. And yes, like living in a different city is very empowering. You have that independence that you do not get in your hometown, because no one knows you here. You can be anyone you want to, and yeah, that's it. And like Agartala has very limited options in that scenario. I wanted to do a lot of things like join a dancing class, or but internet has really helped me to pursue some of my hobbies here, to get to know who I really am, you know, like which you like. I feel that you are very influenced by how people think around you, but if you are alone in a city, you really get to know who you are, what are your thoughts on a lot of things, and how you perceive the world. And I think it's very important that you do it at least once in your life. Like there should be this gap between once you move out of your parents' house and get married, you know, to get to know, yeah, what you really want in life.
Great answer. I think this must be motivating to a lot of ladies out there who are navigating through life, who are finding it difficult. So I would urge you to hang in there, believe in yourself. And for other people, for male members, I would want you to, also succeed, but also become someone like your friend, your sister, or if you have a partner, their support system, because some of the things they go through, men, we are not able to understand sometimes. Some added pressure that they feel from the society, from the expectations they feel. So at the end, I'd say that this was a very good interview. I mean, you were so candid and you spoke about a lot of good things. I hope it motivates all of you, all of the aspirants, and you are able to succeed, you are able to believe in yourself, and then finally clear this exam. Or if you are attempting any other exam or anything in life in general, just keep believing in yourself, and you'll make it. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having me. This was my first interview ever.
Okay.
And I don't know if I overshared, or maybe you wanted something else from me, like the audience. Maybe they wanted some other questions to be answered or anything. You can write it down in the comments, and I can get back to you, or Aman can get back to you. And
Sure.
yeah, thank you for having me once again.